So if you can just start by telling us, how do you see the changing dynamics of today impact the mobility solutions industry of tomorrow?
I think it's very hard to say what will happen in a very longer term scenario in terms of 5 or 10 years. But short term, if you see what's happening in the mobility industry, is there was a wave of voice, and then voice started eroding. Then came what was at that point of time conventional value-added services, adding 15-20% of the revenue to the operators, but significant margin. But it's only a question of time that data will become a quantity. But what will be the next wave? People are saying, again, in Indian context, the example would be Aadhaar has gone online. People can use Aadhaar for authentication, for validating an identity or a KYC of a consumer. They are investing heavily. Biometric of retina recognition for identity and authentication is something which they're in a fairly advanced stage, and it will happen. It's a question of the smartphone's ability to do retina detection, penetration would and we have seen some of these things really multiply very, very quickly. Financial things for sure is going to be one disruptor of the market. The way people do banking, the way people do transactions is completely going to change. It's a question of, in our life, we'll see in the next 5 years. Combination of broadband backbone and mobile as the last mile is going to transform a lot of industries. And the way I see, voice and data will become commodity, and people will leverage them to achieve some end objective.
How is Mahindra Comviva better poised? Where is Mahindra Comviva better poised to take this challenge?
So we are, we are trying to transform ourselves. 2 or 3 areas that we always focused on: data, content, and commerce. We are also pushing our wallet solutions, and we are seeing a lot of traction in banks adopting our wallet solution in India, and also internationally. And we are pretty certain that there are multitude of vendors, that there'll be room for only a handful of vendors to finally play some meaningful role in the market, and hopefully our legacy and what we have built over the decade will be able to leverage to play a significant role going forward.
What about the geographical challenges that you have right now?
Actually, this is something which every organization goes through. If you go back and look at whether it is an IBM or a GE, they have had their peaks, they have their valleys, and they're back on the peaks. At this point of time, GE is struggling, and IBM had struggled a decade back and has come back. We're just 10, 12 years old, so we're seeing our first decade challenges. Our solutions, we're clearly evolving to get to evolve with the market needs. But the geographies, Africa continues to be a challenge, because the operators, as they have gone from 30-40% penetration to 70-80 or 100% penetration, they clearly have scale up their expectations. So consumer demanding quality of service is the driver, and everything else will fall or get aligned. And in last 5 years, a lot has happened in Africa. We continue to depend heavily on Africa in terms of almost 50% of our revenue.
In terms of organizational challenges, what are the key ones top of your head?
Leadership is the key challenge that any organization faces, and we are facing. If I ask myself, or if you ask myself, what keeps me awake every morning when I get up, or every night when I hit the bed, there's one question that I said, that if this company has to reach the next milestone of 200 million, who are the 10 leaders who are going to carry that burden on their shoulder?
Like a message for you to the rest of the organization as to what we should do to be ready for the business of tomorrow's.
Well, I have a very simple message to the team here. If we have to be in the business of tomorrow, we have no opportunity to carry the legacy of today. If we can somehow find ways to keep our today behind, only then we can step into tomorrow. Whether it is our problems, our challenges, our process, our skills, our leadership issues, we have to find ways and means to solve our today's problem today, so that tomorrow is a new platter and we are ready for tomorrow.